this was your very first feature.
This was.
Could you tell me what was the main challenge from your point of view?
I think it was the first time that I managed a budget this big, honestly. It wasn't a lot. It was under 500,000, the whole movie. Even less, way less than that, but that's the max Telefilm gives. And we had scenes with like prosthetics and lice and people flying in the air and rain and fire and like finding a way to make sure that people were paid well and that we got all the locations we needed and that everyone was fed. That was honestly the hardest part. And there would be things like, for example, we rented a rain tower for the very last scene of the movie, but then it actually ended up pouring rain on everyone. So, and there was no sewage on the streets. So up to like our knees, water. And like all of the monitors were like about to go underneath. So that was hard. That was really hard, but we made it. We made it through.
You like include your family, your father in your work, not only in your films, but I think you do like music together.
Yeah, my parents are both musicians, so they got me into the arts very early. Like I was playing piano when I was 1, and I was singing and like on stage all the time. So that's where I think I like developed this need for like audience validation because they got me in front of people and they were like, look, when you're good, they clap. So I got that from my parents, and they left Iran because they aren't allowed to do music and they came here. So it was really important for me to kind of like carry the legacy and keep doing art. And then, around 16, I like developed an interest in film and directing, especially. I went to university for acting. They were kind of surprised because they thought I was going to be a lawyer, which is shocking because they put me in music my whole career. And then the pandemic hit and I started my own company and they were very supportive from the beginning. So my mom would cook for the crews and then she did on Foreigner. She cooked every single day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner for everyone. And then my dad built one of the sets. There's a moment in the movie where Yasamin goes into like a bathroom at her friend's house and like my dad built everything from scratch. We like stored some of our material at our house in our basement. They're very, very supportive, very involved. They help with all the Farsi writing and translation. Yeah, good parents. It's a dream situation for artists. And I put a lot of my parents into the grandma and the dad in like the sense of humor and how like caring they are for the child. Also strict, but very caring. So yeah. Yes, I was born in Canada, so I pulled a lot of the stories that my mom and dad told me about their experience moving here. My mom shared with me that when she arrived in Canada, on the night she came, her father passed away. So she associates kind of moving here with that loss in her family. So that was something that I took and I put into the main character.
All the magazines, the TV series, I mean, is that from your own experience too? Like this obsession of I don't know, nice blonde hair you see on magazines covers?
Yes. So my mom, when I was like a child, she had just moved like 2-3 years before I was born. So she was watching a lot of Friends and like we would watch it together. And then I started watching like TV horror movies with her. And that's how I found like Carrie and Halloween and all the movies that influenced this. And then like around 10, I read this book called The Clique, which was about a bunch of like really cool girls and a new girl coming in. So it has had a big influence on me. And I became obsessed with fashion because all the girls would talk about what designer brands they were wearing and stuff. So I started collecting like Teen Vogue and like J14 and Teen B, and I would read it every single day and I would wear like the ugliest clothes ever to school because I had no sense of style. I was just like being told what was cool. So I wanted to put that in the movie, and you can see her like reading all the same stuff that I used to read as a kid.
About the camera and maybe the lenses that you used, could you tell me a little bit about maybe your choices and why you chose to film this way?
Yes. So we had 3 kind of major sponsors. We had Keslow, who did camera, Sparky's, who did like rigging, GLX special things, and then Sunbelt, who did our like lighting and grip equipment. So we worked with like the inventory that they had. My cinematographer presented me with like a couple options for camera. We narrowed it down to like RE Mini and then RE Mini LF. I mean, I think we ended up going with RE Mini LF. I think something about the sensor. He explained it to me. It made sense then. I forget now why. And then we did a lens test. So we like had 4 or 5 options. He had like Canon K35, the black wings. We ended up going with the black wing. I think it was either XT. I think it was XT. Because when you put up the lens and then you put light through it, the lens flare was pink. So it felt very like perfect for the movie. That all the flares were pink. And I wanted like a really vintage feel. Like originally I pitched to him like, let's do like a Panavision lens or like shoot on film or something like that. And then that was too expensive. So we went with the black wings and I think it turned out good. And then for pickups, we used Canon K35.
As soon as I saw like your first scene that we see happening in a car and I heard speaking Farsi, I don't know, my brain did something, and I saw like maybe, I don't know, a link with Iranian movies. Was this something you wanted to do, or was it just, you know?
Good question. I grew up, my dad would drive me to school every single morning. So I would play for him like anything that I would hear on the radio, like Lady Gaga or Kesha and Justin Bieber. And he was like, what is this? Like, you're a classical musician. Like, and then sometimes there would be a song and it'd be like, I like this one. Like, and then the MP3s, like iPod Nano became a thing. So I started like Bluetoothing my iPod Nano. I bought like something to put in the cigarette holder. And so it became worse because I had like complete control. So that's where like that came from. But I'm also like very influenced by Iranian cinema, especially in like recent years now that I'm older and like I take film more seriously and I like watch films like from all over the world. Like I think after Foreigner, I watched Seed of the Sacred Fig, and like now that's like a big influence on my work. And like, yeah, I saw Under the Shadow before I filmed Foreigner, and like I don't think they had any car scenes. I knew of Taxi or Tehran Taxi by Jafar Panahi, and that one's all in a car. So
you do movies, you also act, you sing.
I've just decided now, I tell people when they're like, what are you? Like, are you a singer? Are you an editor? I'm just like, I'm a Swiss Army knife. Like it's all one thing. It's all art in the end. I'm trying to like use these different mediums to like express myself and like talk about stories that are interesting. So I try not to see them as so separate. It's just like whatever my mood is. I also have ADHD. So like that explains like a lot. Like it's like, I just need to be doing something different all the time. And then sometimes I'll spend months like working really hard on an album, and then I'll be like, okay, enough music, let's go to film. And like, and then and then I'll do that. And I think that was like what was really fun is like getting to have so much control, like starting to write it and then direct it and then edit it and like shape the story in all 3 stages and be able to tell the crew like, oh no, I know this performance is going to work because like I'm an actor and I know how it's going to cut together in the edit. I just need her to look down, look up, and then I'm going to take that piece and like put it in. So yeah, I like view it all as like one thing. It's about more putting out the piece than it is about like the job that I'm doing. Yeah. I don't know how cinematographers and like grips and stuff do it. I cannot carry anything. That's one thing I've learned. I can't paint. I can't do like any manual labor. It's just like my brain is the only muscle that wants to work. So like when it comes to lifting the set pieces, I'm like, I leave that to the art department. Can't do that. Writing was the first thing that I did a lot of without anyone telling me. Like music was like, it was just a thing in my family, but like writing was kind of my thing. So when my parents would go and work, I would sit on the computer and I would write online too. And like, it was a good escape from the realities of like what was going on in my life. Cause I think like too early in my life, like around 9 through 14 years old, there was like a series of back-to-back death in my family. It was like, one day I'll have to make a movie about that. But like, it was a lot of like pain at that age. And like, I didn't have any siblings, but I had a dog, and I like lost the dog. Everyone knows it's like so painful to lose the dog. And so like I would write and I would like create songs to like escape these like harsher things or like find a way to communicate. I was too disorganized to like keep a diary. So I think part of it is just like art therapy. And like even now, if I don't work and if I don't like put something out, I get sad again. So like it feels like my reason to be is just to like put out new art, whether anyone cares or listens to it or not.
Could you give me like a few movie titles that maybe are important for you?
Sure. Yeah. I'll start with like influence on my editing, Requiem for a Dream. There's like lots of fast montage cuts. It was also like the first movie that like fully traumatized me. So thank you, Requiem for a Dream. I grew up with like Coraline. It's like my favorite animated movie. Black Swan. Mean Girls, of course. You can see it in the movie. Carrie 1976. And now Seed of the Sacred Fig. Those are a couple. A wild mix of stuff. Just like music. I like everything. Classical, rap, whatever. Yeah.